everyone. Welcome back to the Shinah Show. So I'm recording this episode in July 2021. That means about 8 years ago, actually 8 years ago. That means that 8 years ago, around this time of year, I was seriously thinking about quitting my law job. I was actually kind of in the middle of my plan of taking some time off and resting and then coming back and then taking maybe a reduced workload and seeing how that would work. I was really in the throes of planning to quit. And for anybody who was thinking about making a change in their life or going after something, doesn't have to be as big as quitting your job, but even something as small as, hey, I'd like to start some kind of creative side hustle. I bet you the first question in your head, the question that fills up all of your thoughts and gives you all of the doubts is, how am I going to do it? How am I going to make this work? What steps am I going to take? How? How? That's all the brain wants to know, right? Is, oh my God, how are you going to make this work? And in this episode, I'm going to tell you the how, not so important. It's actually a bit of a red herring. Here's what is important instead. Having a lighthouse. So if that's intriguing to you and you're like, I don't believe you, Shinah, but I will continue to listen just to see what you have to say about it, then this episode is for you. If I had told myself, right, my 2013 self, 8 years ago, really like close to quitting law and just no idea of what she was going to do next. If I were to go back and tell her, yo, Shinah, in less than 7 years, you're going to quit law, you're going to explore a bunch of things, you're going to find your creative passion in life, and you're going to build $1 million business on it. 2013 Shinah would be like, what? Okay, even if I believe you, future Shinah, how? Tell me the how. All right? That's what you want to know also. And that's what so many people want to know. And those are the kinds of questions that I get in my inbox and my DMs all the time is, how do you get your first client? How do you put yourself out there? How do you, start a calligraphy business? How do you get hired by big corporate clients? How do you make steady, consistent income? It's always those how questions that people are so quick to want to know. I'm going to tell you the uncomfortable truth. There is no how. There is no one perfect roadmap that will work for everyone. Even if I have built my own calligraphy business, I cannot tell you guys exactly how you're going to build your calligraphy business. Let me illustrate that even further with a bit of an analogy. Or maybe it's a metaphor. Sometimes I forget the difference between those two. Maybe it's both. Anyway, here's an illustration of this idea that the how is not that important. I know your brain is fixated on it, but the how is, you don't need to know it. And in fact, having an exact how, an exact step-by-step of how someone did it before, it might actually hurt you. Because here's the analogy. Say you're trying to get somewhere, right, through a jungle or something. All you have is someone telling you, okay, just follow this exact trail. This exact trail right here. This is going to lead you to where you want to go. And you're like, great, fantastic. Someone told me the exact trail to follow. Nothing can go wrong. I'm going to do this, right? Because I have the how. But say you're going down that trail and you come upon like a big ravine. It's just a great big black chasm, but the trail goes off the cliff. And you're like, what the heck? Or say you're walking along on your trail, your foolproof trail, and suddenly the trail starts going straight up a cliff or a mountainside and you got to climb it. Or say you're going along your trail and suddenly you round a corner and a big boulder has fallen just right in the middle of the trail and there's no way around. If you just have follow the trail, follow this exact trail, you're going to get where you want to go. When you come upon that ravine where you have to jump down into a great black abyss, are you going to do it? Are you going to have the faith and the trust to go, all right, I guess this is where the trail tells me to go. I'm going to jump. Or are you going to hesitate a little bit and say, I don't know. That seems seems really dangerous. Seems like a bad idea. Maybe I won't do it. Maybe I'll turn back. Maybe I'll stop, right? When you hit that cliff, that mountainside that you got to climb up because the trail is going all the way up, do you have the skill and the strength to climb that cliff, even though that's where the trail says to go? Or are you going to get tired? Are you not going to have the muscle capacity to do it? Are you going to turn back because you don't know how to keep going? When you hit that boulder that has fallen across the trail, what are you going to do if you have only the trail to follow? You're going to turn back, right? All of those obstacles, which are, I know this is an analogy, but they're perfectly probable in real life, right? Someone could give you an exact business path. Make this website, put this product for sale for this amount of money, advertise it on here, build an Instagram page, right? They could give you the exact step-by-step. And yet you could come to a step where you have to make a leap of faith and you're not sure you trust, or you have to do something really hard that takes a lot of stamina and you haven't built up that stamina. You haven't conditioned your muscles, or something changes on the business path, right? Facebook changes its algorithm. Raw materials go up in price. Things change all the time. And if you have just the follow this trail, you don't know what to do, right? The most likely conclusion, if you're just in the mentality of, I'm going to follow this trail, it's going to take me where I want to go. This is all that's important. What's going to happen is that you're going to turn back. You're not going to be able to keep going. So I hope that analogy has showed you how actually dangerous it can be to think that you can rely on just these exact steps and they'll take you exactly where you want to go, because the steps can change and everybody is different. Your challenges are different. Your strengths are different. Where you want to go is different. I bet at this point you're asking, all right, Shinah, I get what you're saying. I can see how just following one specific trail and being really hyper-focused on the how, that might not work out. What do I do instead? Here's where the lighthouse comes in. And this is something that my own life coach, my life and business coach, who I've been working with for over 6 years now, this is something that she told me and that has really stuck with me and has really helped me to get to where I am today. She said, look, it's not about knowing the exact how, the exact steps to get there. All you need is a lighthouse. The lighthouse is an idea of where you want to go. It doesn't even have to be an exact picture of where you want to go, right? Because it's in the distance. It's a light. It might be kind of hazy, but you can see it. But it points you generally where you want to go so that you can start working your way towards it. And if you get off, if there's a boulder in your path, you can go around the boulder and still kind of head towards the lighthouse. If there's a ravine and you end up jumping down it, or you can't jump down it, you might be able to find an alternative path because you're going towards the lighthouse. If you get off track and you get lost, you can still backtrack and still head towards the lighthouse. The idea here is that you have an idea of where you're going and you figure out the steps and the how along the way. And there's definitely a bit of trust here that those steps will be revealed to you as you come to them. I know it sounds like a bit of a leap of faith, but it's absolutely what happened to me, and it's what happened to every single entrepreneur and creative that I've talked to. They didn't know exactly where they were going and how they were going to get there, but they took one step at a time, all the while keeping their eye on the lighthouse. And things kind of came. Ways appeared, right? Things that brought them closer and closer to the lighthouse, things that they wouldn't even have known to look for or think about revealed themselves. And that's exactly what happened to me. Let me give you a concrete example just from my own experience. When I first started my calligraphy business, I had no idea what I was doing. I did not know how I was going to make enough money to support myself. I had no idea if that was even possible. But instead of getting mired in, the exact path and staying stuck, my life coach encouraged me, okay, set a lighthouse for yourself. And that lighthouse was just making enough money per month so that I could live. just covering my basic expenses. That was the lighthouse for me. It was, how can I get to a place where I'm making enough money that I can just cover my basic expenses? That was it. You'll notice it's not like a super detailed plan, right? It's not sell a line of products that, has a certain number of SKUs and sells a certain amount at this profit margin. It's not a business plan, right? It's just an idea. But here's what it did. It guided me as I started to make my way through business. So when I was selling greeting cards, I was able to look at like the profit margins and what it was bringing in and go, okay, is this getting me closer to my lighthouse of just this amount of consistent income per month? Okay, not quite. I got to do something else to supplement. Okay, so I tried selling mugs. But then, I looked on the profit margin there and how much was selling, and I decided, okay, that's not really getting me there. So I'm going to pivot, still heading towards my lighthouse. What if I teach calligraphy? Okay, that's actually bringing in a little bit more steady, consistent income, definitely getting closer. And then, just happened to find out about online courses because someone asked me to be a part of their online course. Notice, online courses, I had no idea online courses existed when I first started out my calligraphy business in 2016. So I couldn't have come up with that plan. If I had wanted to, I couldn't have come up with it, right? I didn't know the how. It hadn't revealed itself to me yet. But as I was making my way towards my lighthouse, that did come up. And I thought, okay, an online course where I can sell. I'm not limited by like my own time. I can sell as many seats as I can sell, and maybe that will bring enough to give me a consistent monthly income. So I headed towards the online course. All I needed to kind of focus me and help me make my decisions and make my way through this jungle was a lighthouse. I didn't have an exact roadmap. Nobody told me the exact how. I got some along the way for sure, right? There were examples that I saw, oh, you could do it this way. You could do it this way. I joined some programs that told me, okay, here's the exact way to get from here to here, right? So there's definitely some how that you need that you need to know along the way. And that would be very helpful to learn, but it's not the most important thing. The lighthouse is the most important thing. So what I want you to get out of this is if you are looking to make a change in your life or go for something or start to build something, it's okay if you don't have the exact how, if you don't know the exact way that you're going to get there, even though it's really uncomfortable for your brain because it wants to be sure, it wants certainty, it wants 100% guarantee, you're not going to get it. But what you can do is set yourself a lighthouse. Your lighthouse could be, I just want a creative passion that I can do like one day out of the week on the weekend. I want a creative passion for my Saturday where I jump out of bed and Saturday is my creative day and I just want that. That could be a lighthouse. Or a lighthouse could be, I want just a side hustle that brings in enough to cover just like art supplies and fun courses that, I can take for creativity. That could be a lighthouse. Or a lighthouse could be, I want to become a full-time calligrapher. And I'm going to set my sights on that. I need to make a certain amount each month. That's my lighthouse. Whatever your lighthouse is, I hope you see that you can set it and then just trust me as someone who has done it before. Once you start taking steps towards it, and that is led by, your curiosity. Okay, what appeals to you? What do you see maybe some other people doing, right? There's many, many things that can lead you step by step along the way, but you just take those steps one at a time. Stuff comes up that you never even realized was possible. You start discovering new ways to get closer and closer to your lighthouse, and you can totally get to an amazing place that way. You don't need the exact how. Stop believing your brain that you need that before you can start taking steps. Get yourself a lighthouse instead and let it guide you on your crooked creative path. All right, that's what I have for you this week. I will see you on the next Shinah show. Hey, if you're interested in learning calligraphy and you want to do it for free, I have a calligraphy workshop that I created just for you. I know how frustrating it is to buy the wrong tools, to not know how to use them, for everything coming out of your pen to look like nonsense. That's why I created this training. It's about an hour long. It shows you exactly what tools to buy, how to prep those tools, how to get started right, and how to continue practicing so that you actually get good at calligraphy. And bonus, it will tell you a little bit more about how to continue working with me if you want to learn calligraphy from me. So that's at freecalligraphyworkshop.com, all one word, freecalligraphyworkshop.com. Hope to see you inside.